Something massive is happening right now, and it's flying under the radar. Thousands of top attorneys and prosecutors in the Department of Justice are quitting, and it's not for the reasons you might think. This is more than just disgruntled employees walking away. It's a breakdown that's shaking the very foundation of America's justice system. The truth? It's far deeper than just politics. It could change everything we know about the system. But here's the twist. The real reason behind it all isn't being talked about. Stick around to find out how this could impact the future. And trust me, it's not over yet. So what's really going on here? The Department of Justice is facing an exodus like we've never seen before. We're talking about close to 3,000 resignations, firings, and forced exits. That's no small number. But here's where things get interesting. This isn't just a wave of employees leaving. It's a coordinated shift in the very people who've been tasked with holding the powerful accountable. Now, you're probably wondering, why now? Why is this happening just when things are heating up politically? The simple answer is it's all about control. The Trump administration isn't just losing personnel, it's reshaping the DOJ to push their own agenda. And the real question we need to ask is, what happens when the system meant to enforce the law no longer has the people to do it fairly? This isn't just a case of people quitting. It's a sign of something bigger, systemic breakdown. Take the situation in Minnesota. 6 prosecutors who were handling the state's most sensitive cases suddenly walked away after the Trump regime pushed them to investigate a widow. That's right, a widow who lost her husband. They couldn't stand by a system that demanded they pursue such a case. And this is just one of many examples. Notice what's missing here. There's no real accountability. Instead, we're seeing an increasing number of resignations from people who once upheld the law. These prosecutors didn't just quit. They chose silence over compromise. This act of standing down is louder than anything they could have said on the record. But here's the kicker. The replacements aren't quitting. They're stepping in, willing to do whatever it takes to follow orders. What does that mean for the future of justice? Now, the situation doesn't just stop here. This is escalating fast. The Trump administration isn't just losing people, it's replacing them with anyone willing to play ball, no matter what it costs. These aren't just random moves. They're strategic decisions to shift power. Think about this. The Department of Justice has gone from being a symbol of justice to something much darker, a weapon for political retribution. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this either. Remember how the Justice Department was weaponized during Watergate? Well, history is repeating itself, except this time it's on a larger, more disturbing scale. What's happening now isn't just bad for the system, it's dangerous. And if this pattern continues, we might see more and more key people pushed out, leaving only those who are willing to compromise their integrity for power. This is where we have to ask, how far will this go? And it doesn't stop there. Things are getting even more unsettling. The latest? A criminal investigation into Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey, just because they held press conferences supporting peaceful protests against ICE. Now think about that. The Trump administration is using its power to go after elected officials simply for standing by their constituents and their rights to protest. This is a direct contradiction of what we're being told by the administration. You've got Pam Bondi, former Trump ally, out here defending these actions, claiming that any prosecutor who doesn't support ICE and its methods doesn't belong in the DOJ. But here's the reality. It's not about supporting ICE. It's about making sure nobody stands up to them. When you realize this, the whole story flips. What we're witnessing isn't just political infighting. It's a systematic assault on anyone who dares to challenge the status quo. Now, things are really starting to unravel. It's not just the resignations or the investigations, it's the pressure. The DOJ is facing multiple rapid-fire crises. First, you've got key prosecutors quitting left and right. Then, they're being replaced by individuals who may not have the same commitment to justice. On top of that, there's a full-blown investigation into elected officials for supporting peaceful protests. And just when you think it can't get worse, the narrative shifts. It's not just about holding law enforcement accountable anymore. It's about creating a legal landscape where only one side wins. This is the definition of escalating pressure, and it's happening fast. The people who once stood for justice are now forced out, while those who are willing to follow orders without question take their place. What happens if this continues? We could be looking at a future where the DOJ isn't a defender of law and fairness anymore. It could become a tool for unprecedented political control. Now, let's step back for a moment and think about what this means for you, because at the end of the day, this isn't just some abstract political drama. It's about real people. You have ordinary citizens who rely on the justice system to protect their rights, their safety, and their freedom. But what happens when those entrusted with enforcing the law are either forced out or replaced with those who have no interest in doing so fairly? This isn't just a game for power brokers. This is about everyday people whose lives will be affected by a system that no longer functions as it should. If this feels familiar, like something you've seen before in history, or maybe even in your own community, drop a comment. Let me know if this is hitting home. So why is this happening? What's driving all of this chaos? It's not just about bad actors or a few rogue officials. It's about a system that's been corrupted by incentives, fear, and leverage. The DOJ, once a powerful force for holding people accountable, is now being used as a political tool. Think about the power dynamics at play here. When the law itself is shaped by the whims of political agendas, the system stops being about justice. It's about control. It's about leveraging the power of the law to silence opponents, push through personal agendas, and manipulate outcomes. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a much larger pattern that's been slowly unfolding over time. Here's the unsettling truth. This is the system working exactly as it was designed for those who hold the power. And for everyone else, it's becoming a game of survival. Now, where does this all lead? We have two possible paths ahead, and neither of them is simple. On one hand, this could continue to escalate with more and more resignations, more investigations, and a deeper erosion of trust in the DOJ. We could see a future where political influence dominates the legal system, where prosecutors and officials are replaced by those who follow orders without question, and where the idea of justice as impartial and fair becomes just a distant memory. On the other hand, there's a chance the system might push back, either from within, with people refusing to bow to this pressure, or from the public demanding accountability. But even if this happens, it's hard to say how much damage will be done before any meaningful change occurs. One thing is certain, though: momentum is building. The next move is already in the works. And the question is whether we're on the brink of a tipping point or just seeing the beginning of something much darker. Here's the real takeaway. The cracks in the justice system are no longer hidden. The decisions being made today are setting the stage for a future where justice may no longer be blind. It could very well be controlled by whoever holds power. What happens next could determine the fate of the entire system we rely on to protect our rights. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about politics. It's about our future. We're at a critical crossroads, and the next few months could be pivotal. Are we heading toward a justice system that serves all, or one that only serves the powerful? Only time will tell. For now, make sure you stay tuned. If you want to keep up with the latest analysis and stay ahead of the curve, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. More on this coming soon.